You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN E-mini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things E-mini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borth. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Wednesday, 27th day of March, 2024. Thanks so much for joining us. Whoever you are, wherever you are, we're just glad to have you right here, right now. We do 2 live broadcasts every trading day. This is the second one, and this one is open to the public. Everybody, everywhere on planet Earth with an internet-connected device. Unlike the first broadcast every trading day, which is private, members only, and those taking their 1-week free trial. If you have not taken your 1-week free trial, go to mytradingiq.com, and at the very top of the page, there's a link that says 5-day free trial, no credit card required. Click the link, fill out the registration form, make sure you tick all the boxes, fill everything out, because it's an automated process. So if you don't fill it out properly, we won't get it. We won't know you want to take a trial. And we do want you to take a trial. That's why we offer it. That's why we pay for it. It says free trial, but let's face it, the only thing in life that's free is salvation. Maybe oxygen. Anyway, you get the point. We invest our time, our energy, our resources, even our finances to create a space for you where you can come and watch, listen, learn, enjoy all of the resources that our passport holders have access to for 5 consecutive trading days without you having to risk a dime. We want you to have a clear head. Because at the end of the 5-day trial, you're going to have to make a very important decision. Whether or not trading is right for you. MyTradingIQ.com, top of the page. Click that link. Now, there's a limit. 1 free trial every 6 months. With a lifetime cap of 2 trials. Yes, we track by IP address, and please don't make it awkward for either one of us. Okay? Okay. All right. Now, every day when the live training room ends, take a 30-minute break, and we come back for the afternoon broadcast, this one right here. There's 2 different ways you can join this afternoon broadcast live. Best way, you only have to do this once. Go to mytradingiq.com and scroll down the page to where it says afternoon broadcast. Click that link, complete that 30-second registration form, and you're done. Going forward, what will happen? Now that will get you into the broadcast same day, but going forward, you'll also get an email every day about an hour before this broadcast starts. In that email is a link. So at 12 noon Eastern, all you have to do is click the link in the email, and it will automatically log you into our platform. The benefit there is you will have access to the question box so that you can ask questions and participate in the discussion. Of course, there will be days when you're out of the office, away from the desktop, but you still want to join live. You can. Also, there'll be days when you're busy, you can't join live, but you do want to get caught up later. You can do that too. Of course, I'm talking about our YouTube channel. It's easy to remember. youtube.com/CFRN. You already know the YouTube part. So really all you have to remember is CFRN. Now, I do not monitor the question box on the YouTube channel. I just have too many things going on to do everything. So just be honest and admit it. If you want to ask questions, if you want to participate in the discussion, then do what I told you to do in the beginning, where you go to mytradingiq.com, scroll down the page, sign up for the afternoon broadcast. It's free. Whether you become a member or not, you'll have lifetime access to the broadcast. Okay? Now, not only do we broadcast live every trading day on our YouTube channel, we also archive each and every daily broadcast. Currently, there are over 2,400 daily episodes archived for your educational and viewing pleasure. And if you're new to the world of CFRN, it is a great way to get to know who we really are. Not just today, not just this week, but thanks to the power of YouTube, you can scroll back 6 weeks, 6 months, a year, even 8 years. Yeah, true story. You can literally see how we've evolved over the years. Now, you're not going to listen to them all, obviously, but pick some days at random. Listen in a little bit. Fast forward a little bit. Listen in some more. You'll discover the thread of connectivity, the thread of continuity. It's woven through each and every daily broadcast and our very vibrant trading community. youtube.com/CFRN. All right, let's open with our daily devotional and a word of prayer. Then we'll get into the markets, and about 12:45, 12:50, Michael will join us, give us a recap of what happened in the live training room this morning. Then we'll go live on the TradingView platform for 30 minutes, do some live trading. Now, in the live training room in the morning, we're doing live trading the entire 2 hours and 10 minutes. But we'll give you a little taste of that every day on the afternoon broadcast. And once we're done on the TradingView platform, then I'll wrap things up with our good word for the day. And we started a new topic yesterday for our daily devotional: how to hear the voice of God. Today's scripture is 1 Kings 19:11-14. And I'm going to share it with you from the Message translation. Then he was told, "Go stand on the mountain at attention for God. God will pass by. A hurricane wind rip through the mountains and shatter the rocks before God. But God wasn't to be found in the wind. After the wind, an earthquake. God wasn't in the earthquake. And after the earthquake, fire. God wasn't in the fire. And after the fire, a gentle and quiet whisper. Then he was told, go stand on the mountain for God. God will pass by. When Elijah heard the quiet voice, he muffled his face with his great cloak, went to the mouth of the cave, and stood there. A quiet voice asked, so Elijah, now tell me, what are you doing here? Elijah said it again. I've been working my heart out for God, the God of the angel armies, because the people of Israel have abandoned your covenant, destroyed your places of worship, and murdered your prophets. I'm the only one left, and now they're trying to kill me. 1 Kings chapter 19, verses 11 through 14. God has an outside voice. How many times have you told your kids, hey, use your inside voice? Well, God has an outside voice, and he's not afraid to use it. But when God wants to be heard, when what he has to say is too important to miss, he often speaks in a whisper, just above the absolute threshold of hearing. My dictionary defines whisper as speaking very softly, using one's breath without one's vocal cords. The use of breath instead of vocal cords is significant. Isn't that how God created Adam? He whispered into the dust and named it Adam. Adam was once a whisper. So were you. So was everything else. Whispering is typically employed for the sake of secrecy. No form of communication is more intimate. So, why does God so often speak in whispers? When someone speaks in a whisper, you have to get very close to hear. You gotta lean in, right? In fact, you have to put your ear near the person's mouth. We lean towards a whisper, and that's what God wants. The goal of hearing the Heavenly Father's voice isn't just hearing his voice, it's intimacy with him. He speaks in a whisper because he wants to be as close to us as is divinely possible. He loves us. He likes us that much. When our children were young, I'd sometimes speak in a whisper so they would inch closer to me. That's when I'd grab them and hug them. God plays the same trick on us. We want to hear what he has to say, but he wants us to know how much he loves us. Aren't you grateful for a gentle God? The Almighty could intimidate us with his outside voice, but he woos us with a whisper, and his whisper is the very breath of life. There's an old adage that those who dance are thought mad by those who hear not the music. That is certainly true of those who walk to the beat of God's drum. When you take your cues from the Holy Spirit, you'll do some things that will make people think you're crazy. So be it. Obey the whisper and see what God does. Because nothing has the potential to change your life like the whisper of God. Nothing will determine your destiny more than your ability to hear his still, small voice. That's how God-sized dreams are birthed. That's how miracles happen. Ponder this. When was the last time you invited the Holy Spirit to speak to you? Are you actively inviting God to speak to you right now? Join me in a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you for the scripture that we read today, reminding us of the powerful encounter between Elijah and you. Lord, just as you spoke to Elijah in a gentle whisper, we pray that you would speak to us right now. Help us to quiet our hearts and minds so that we may hear your voice speaking to us. In the midst of the noise and busyness of life, may we find stillness and peace in your presence. Like Elijah, Lord, may we recognize your voice when you speak to us. Give us discernment to distinguish your voice from the many distractions that vie for our attention. If there are areas in our lives where we have not been attentive to your voice, please forgive us. Help us to be sensitive to your leading and obedient to your will. Thank you, Lord, for your faithfulness in speaking to your people throughout history. May we be open and receptive to your voice today, knowing that you desire to guide us and draw us closer to you. It's in Jesus' name we believe and pray. And everybody said, amen. Amen. Happy Wednesday. Okay. Let me give you the numbers from around the world. Start here in the U.S. with the cash markets, or the indices as they're called. Currently the Dow is up 187 points. The NASDAQ is basically unchanged on the session. S&P 500 is up 13 points. The Russell 2000 is up 26 points. Now, that's a little bit of a big deal. The Russell is up 1.25%. and everything else is an also ran. And the NQ actually just went positive, almost 2 points. So, in the commodity basket, crude oil down 13 cents, trading 81.49 last. Gold up $12, trading 22.11.30 last. Silver, go silver, up a penny, trading 24.63 last. In the Asian markets at the close, the Nikkei posted a gain of 364 points. The Shanghai dropped 38. The Hang Seng fell 225. Now for the Hang Seng, that's a drop of over almost 1.5%. And for the Shanghai, that drop is 1.25%. And the gain in the Nikkei is almost 1%. In the European markets at the close, FTSE down 4, the DAX up 94, the CAC up 16. That gave us a mixed day in Asia. It was a mixed day for the UK. And it's a definite, well, the NQ's flittering back and forth, but at the moment, it's a green radio Wednesday here in the US of A. Now, got an article I want to share with you. I might share two. See how fast I get through this one. Trump Media and Technology Group, trading under the symbol DJT, soared as much as 14% this morning in its second day of trading on the NASDAQ. Parent company of Donald Trump's social media platform, Truth Social, climbed 16% in its first official trading day on Tuesday. It went public after merging with a special purpose acquisition vehicle called Digital World Acquisition in a deal approved by shareholders last week. Now, we gave you the heads up on this Monday, so hopefully you were able to participate in some of the gains. According to an SEC filing from DWAC, Trump Media lost $49 million in the first 9 months of last year and brought in $3.4 million in revenue. At current levels, its market cap now sits around $8 billion. Other meme-friendly names like Reddit, GameStop, had also seen massive run-ups in recent days, while riskier assets, Bitcoin and commodities, have soared since the start of the year. Some names are coming back down to earth. Reddit and GameStop were down about 13 and 16% respectively early in today's trade. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Short interest in DJT stock bets that the stock price will fall rather than rise. And the short interest is about 11% of outstanding shares, according to the latest data from S3 Partners. To note, average short interest in public companies typically sits in the 3 to 4% range. Now, history lesson. There's still a few of you left in this audience who remember when CFRN was birthed back in April of 2005. We had a ragtag group of investors who were sick and tired of what's called naked shorting. Now, I could spend hours talking to you about naked shorting, why it's wrong, illegal, immoral, and how the government, the DTTC, is complicit and compliant. You see, when you short a stock, you either A, have to already own the stock, or you have to borrow the stock from someone who does. Now, your broker usually takes care of this arrangement for you. The way the law reads is you have 3 days to cover. In other words, if you're going to short a stock, like people are shorting DJT, their broker has to find someone willing to lend those shares to back up the short position. But guess what happens when those 3 days pass and that short position has not been covered with real stock? Absolutely nothing. That's why it's called a naked short position. It's literally a license to print money. And it's wrong. And a lot of great companies were destroyed by naked short selling. A good friend over at Overstock, Patrick Byrne, he's no longer with the company. Because Wall Street had it in for Patrick, he resigned as the founder. Well, I guess you can't resign as the founder, but he resigned as the CEO and the chairman at Overstock. Because Wall Street has been out to get him since he took Overstock public, because he did it via what's called a Dutch auction. That's where regular people like you and me get a chance to participate in the IPO. The big boys frown on that. Goldman Sachs of the world, the BlackRocks of the world. That's not how you do business on Wall Street. But Patrick wanted to give him the old, well, one of his fingers. Anyway. And so that's how CFRN was born. Our ragtag group of investors needed a platform where we could scream and yell and bellyache and call the SEC and harass them and harass CEOs of companies. Some of you will remember that one company that supposedly had a diamond mine. And we kept warning everybody, get out, get out, get out. That was one of the biggest pump and dumps of all time. We uncovered it, and then we covered it, and then CFRN morphed into what it is today. The former president founded Truth Social after he was kicked off the other major social media apps like Facebook and Twitter, the platform formerly known as X, or X, the platform formerly known as Twitter. That's a Prince joke if you don't get it. Trump has since been reinstated on all the platforms, but he said, no thanks. Trump will maintain a roughly 60% stake in Truth Social, a stake currently worth roughly $4 billion. The merger's completing also comes as the former president faces a $454 million fraud penalty where no fraud was actually committed, and grapples with a campaign fundraising shortfall as he gears up for the 2024 election. I don't think he's got to do a whole lot of campaigning. I think what the American people have seen over the last 4 years? If we have a fair election, I don't think there's any doubt in anyone's mind who's going to win. You see, Joe has some baggage that we're all aware of. And he has some other baggage that maybe we haven't really thought so much about. Do you think Joe can make it through another 4 years? Even if he's elected? If so, if he is elected, we're one heartbeat away from Kamala Harris being president of the free world. Wow. If that won't keep you awake at night, God bless you. You're built of stronger stuff than I am. That's for sure. Okay. All right, I had to pause for a minute to respond to something. I responded, and you have my undivided attention. Okay. Logic 247. That's our 24/7 around-the-clock E-mini alert service. We're currently in week 295. Over the last 295 weeks, we've issued over 16,200 or 300, I forget, individual handcrafted alerts. And what we've averaged is 20% or less of the alerts being stopped out based on market structure in a very simple process that we teach all of our passport holders. Now, Valerie did this recap this morning at 6:30 a.m. Eastern. She will update it this afternoon, then probably again this evening before she retires. 47 total alerts since the markets opened Sunday night. Still waiting on the outcome of 15. So we have 32 actionable alerts. Now, yesterday, we had 16 actionable alerts. Today, we've doubled that, 32 actionable alerts. We've had 4 stop out, or 13% of actionable alerts stopped out. Yesterday was 13. But look at the difference in the actionable alerts, that double. Picked up a couple more stop outs, but we're still at 13%. And again, what we've averaged over the last 295 weeks and 16,200 plus alerts is 20% or less on a weekly basis being stopped out. Simply based on market structure and that process we teach all of our passport holders. So is that a good week? Well, I'd like to think so. Long before Logic 247 was even a thought, we had our original alert service, the concierge trade alerts. Now they're different. The logic alerts have an entry price, an initial target designed to help you get your goal for the day, and then potentially 3, 4, 5 additional targets and a final trade to target. If it's a short alert, the final trade to target will be the weekly trading zone below. It's a long alert. The final trade to target will be the weekly trading zone above. But remember, you only have to get to that initial target. Get your goal for the day, put the mouse away. Now, the purpose of the alerts is not just so you can trade the alerts and not have to worry about, learning how to trade. Even though I know some people will ultimately do that for a season. Don't sell yourself short. Use the alerts as they're intended, as a stepping stone to you becoming self-sufficient. If your goal is to someday trade for a living, that's never going to happen as long as you're dependent upon someone else to tell you when to get in and when to get out. You've got to learn to be able to look at the charts and instinctively see where the window of opportunity is, and then understand how to use a smaller time frame to enter and exit that window of opportunity with surgical precision, minimizing your risk. The CTAs, you're stepping up to the next level. Logic alerts, remember, have an entry, initial target, other targets, and a final trade to target. With the CTAs, you get a long target and a short target. First thing you do, this is getting you closer to being self-sufficient. Now, the logic alerts can come out anytime around the clock, 2 a.m. or 2 p.m. Futures trade around the clock. We have traders around the globe. CTAs are published as a static report shortly after the Globex open each evening. When the report comes out last night, 5 minutes after the open, I was at my desk, ready to go. That's about as quick as humanly possible, I think. Although it was a long time before anybody broke the 4-minute mile. Thousands of years. But once somebody did it, man, and everybody could do it. So there's an interesting story. The man's name was Roger. It wasn't Roger Bannister. I'll think of it. It's Roger something. Anyway, what do you do when this comes out? Go to the 30-minute chart of whatever markets you actually trade and make a note on that 30-minute chart where price is at this time. It'll always be between these two numbers. Then draw a line in the sand at the long target, a line in the sand at the short target. Those will serve as great visual cues to help you stay on the right side of the street. Price gets above the 30-minute BBC, it's trying to reach the long target. Price is below the 30-minute BBC, it's attempting to reach the short target. The BBC stands for bull-bear cross. It's the green line you'll see on my charts. If price gets above the green line, bullish, and anticipate higher prices relative to whatever time frame we're looking at. If price crosses below the green line, then we're bearish and anticipate lower prices relative to whatever time frame we're looking at. BBC bull bear cross. Go to the charts, you'll see the pullback holds more often than it doesn't. The larger the time frame, the more often it holds. All that's pretty simple. Now, with the CTAs, this is where you start looking left yourself to spot potential obstacles to the trade. Previous swing highs or swing lows that can become current resistance or support. And you'll learn how price behaves at a weekly trading zone. Price is always trying to reach a weekly trading zone. From the moment the markets open Sunday night They close Friday afternoon. If price is above the 30-minute BBC, it's trying to get to the zone above. Price is below the 30-minute BBC, it's trying to get to the zone below. Published the zones since December 14th of 2009, closing in on 15 years. They come out Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern, and once they're published, they're carved in stone for the entire week. They do not change in any way whatsoever. Beyond that, just resist the urge to complicate things. As long as you know which way the wind is blowing, it's pretty simple to reach your goal for the day. Let's go look at the daily chart. Where are we in the grand scheme of things? Now, why look at a daily chart? I'll tell you why. Institutional traders, the ones that actually move price, they look at daily, weekly, and monthly charts, where you and I look at 30-minute charts, 5-minute charts, tick charts, and range charts. Why? Has to do with account size. And the size they trade in is what moves price. So our strategy and our indicators are not designed to outsmart the institutions with their infinite resources, but to allow you to see clearly what the deep pockets are doing and give you an understanding of why, so that you can then confidently do what they're doing just long enough to get your goal for the day, and then have the discipline to put the mouse away. Here's the green line, BBC, bull bear cross, bearish below it, bullish above it. The last time we crossed the BBC was November 2nd. The following day, November 3rd, was confirmation. We opened and closed above the BBC. And we've remained above the BBC ever since. Now, price doesn't travel in a straight line. Leg retrace, leg retrace, leg retrace. Leg retrace, leg retrace, you see? And you see how the pullback holds more often than not? Okay. But eventually, price will trade through the BBC, as it did back on November 2nd of last year. Are we long overdue for such a move? We are. This right here is the all-time historic high for the S&P 500 E-mini futures. Now, maybe you don't trade the S&P. Doesn't matter. Whatever you trade, maybe it's a different futures market, maybe it's individual stocks, maybe it's crypto or Forex or ETFs. If you'll learn to spend 2 minutes, the daily chart, before you drop down to your smaller time frames to actually start putting on and taking off trades, you'll see your trading results change for the better over time. Price was sitting, now today's Wednesday, here's Tuesday, here's Fun Day. This was last Friday. This was Fed Day. The day after Fed Day, we put in the new all-time historic high. Friday was a retracement. And then Monday, we just sat right on top of support at the step line in blue and climbing. Yesterday, we closed below, and I told you to watch for that. Important. And now today again, even though we got a little bit of a green body going, we are actually below that support, which makes it now potential resistance. Coming down, it was potential support, but once you get below it, then it becomes potential resistance. And what I said was if price drops below 52, what were the numbers I gave yesterday? I think I said 52.70. Did we drop below 52.70 yesterday? We did, to 63. Bounced up, hit resistance. And where's the daily BBC? 52.21. If we take out yesterday's low, which is now 52.63, so it's 52.60 down to about 52.25 at $50 a point. Okay. Now, all alerts are created on the 30-minute charts, both the logic alerts and the concierge trade alerts. Ken said it was right. It was Roger Bannister back in 1954. Thanks, James. 52.60. Okay. Is that what I said? 52.60? Okay. Thank you very much. All right. So all alerts are created on the 30-minute chart. The vertical line separates today, Wednesday, from Tuesday, from Monday. These are some of the weekly zones that were published on Monday. We got more overhead and yeah, one more below. Well, actually two. Price tried to break below this zone today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 30-minute candles, 2.5 hours. Now, we spiked below the zone 52.74/75, but all these candles were still touching it. So, support held. Spiked it, but it ultimately held. And when the market finds support, what's it going to do? Go look for resistance. And that's what it's doing right now at the BBC. As you can see, the pullback to the BBC holds more often than it doesn't. Right here, we hit a zone, we pull back to the BBC, and it holds. Run up to the long target, pull back to the BBC, and it holds. Run up to the long target again, and the zone overhead, which becomes good resistance. And that high was determined yesterday. Got to learn how that works. So now the question becomes, will the pullback to the ES hold? We're going to walk through every one of these markets before the end of the broadcast. But Michael's here, so he's going to give us a recap of what happened in the live training room. Then we'll go live on the TradingView platform for 30 minutes. And I'll come back. We'll finish that recap, wrap things up with a good word for the day.
All right. Okay. So here we go.
Looks good.
All right. Good. Yeah, that thing, Dwayne, it just looked kind of AI written, not so much canned, but AI written kind of thing.
It seemed to me like he took quite a bit of time to think about it. So, anyway.
That was, I guess that's kind of what I was getting at.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, all right. So if you have not taken a free trial of this, good afternoon, everybody. Today is Wednesday, the 27th day of March, 2024. If you've not taken a free trial with us, go here to mytradingiq.com right here on the purple button. Click on that. All right. There's no credit card required for the trial. Just click on that. It's going to bring you to this registration page right here, where all it asks for is your name, your email, your phone number. Down here at the bottom, you can give us your TradingView login ID if you have one. You can give us your Ninja Trader machine ID if you have one, and we get your indicators all set up for you. If you don't have either one of those, go to the trading platforms page from our website right here. Go to the trading platforms page and get our trading platforms. DT Pro is the one that I trade with, and I look at my longer term charts on. And TradingView is what I look at. The majority of the charts are on TradingView. Everything that I do is on TradingView. The majority of what I do is on TradingView. Okay, so that's how you get all that. Now let's get into the spreadsheet. That is on a different screen. Here it is, right here. Now, if you're going to read the spreadsheet, you have to read all of the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. We had a pretty good day today. We ended with a few stop outs, but we had a pretty good day. We did get the goal pretty early on. I'm trying to get down to today. Here it is. If you're going to read the spreadsheet, you have to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today is the 27th day of March, 2024. We're up 90 ticks on the NQ, 28 ticks on the Russell. We lost 10 in gold, and we're break even on the ES and on crude oil. So we're up $490 contract this morning. Now this morning it took 14 minutes and 3 trades to get to $2,550. And we took a total of 16 trades all session. So on the month now we're $7,395 with one contract over 19 business days, averaging $389 per contract per 2-hour business day. On the year, we're at $22,802 over 60 business days, averaging $380 per contract per 2-hour business day. Now, if you were to quit trading when you get your goal for the day and add one contract per month using the 24/20 blueprint, and you started last year at the beginning of the year like I did, you would have started this year with 13 contracts, gone to 14 in February, 15 in March, and next week we'll be at 16 contracts. But starting with 13 contracts, if you quit trading when you got your goal for the day, and you added one contract per month, so far this year, the maximum you'd add to work is 24.53 hours doing it just like I did. Now, it should actually be a lot less than that because with 15 contracts, it's harder for me to get my goal because I get a lot of slippage. But with one contract, you shouldn't have gotten as much slippage and you should have gotten your goal sooner than me most of the days, unless I just got into 1 or 2 trades. But 24.5 hours so far is all you would have to work this year. And you would have averaged $4,861 per hour, starting with 13, going to 14, then 15, and starting Monday, 16, $4,861 per hour. Okay. All right, let's get into the trades. The gold today, we had 2 trades. We had this break even right here, and somewhere else I had to stop out. I had to stop out first. Okay, I had to stop out here. -10, and then I missed both of these blue arrows here. I guess I was doing the lesson plan. Then I took a break even on this one right here. I actually did have another one right here. I picked up 7 ticks on this one, and I think I screwed the whole thing up because when I rolled to gold, we rolled to the M contract today. I think this was the one contract on, not 15, but I took credit for 15 stop out. But it was really just a stop out with one. And this one right here, I noticed that I only had one contract on and I got 7 ticks in profit. But I just ignored that trade altogether because it only had one contract on. So I probably got much more than, I didn't get -10. I got -4 ticks is what it came out to be per contract. And it was only one contract, not 15. So I included the -15 worth in the spreadsheet, but it really should only be -100, not -1500. Anyway, we did not take another trade in there after that break-even trade right there. We did not take another trade. There was one more blue arrow right here that was during the break. All right, and the Russell, Mike S, are you in here? I just wanted to see if you are in here. It doesn't look like you are. Okay, in the Russell, let's see here. In the Russell today, we had some pretty good trades. We had a couple of pretty good trades. One pretty good trade. That one right there was our pretty good trade. But we had some good entries, and there were some really nice opportunities here. Now, right at the open, this one right here, right at the open, and I grabbed this for a break even. And then my next trade was right here. I picked up 4 ticks on that one. And then my next trade was right here. I picked up 22 ticks on that one to get me to 26. Then another one right here. I got 2 more ticks on that to get me to 28. And that looks like where I ended it on the Russell this morning. You can see during the break here, there was one more blue arrow right here that would have stopped you out. If you took it, the outer bands were pretty flat. I probably wouldn't have taken that because of the outer bands. And there was nothing else Russell. And that was on the morning for the Russell. Okay, and the ES. Let's look at this ES today. We had 0 trades on the ES. So that's the whole day right there on the ES. We didn't have a single trade. And no trades on most of the way through here, and that's what I want to see my guess for. I accidentally had this on the context, the sensitivity in here was 0.15. That's why I got a blue arrow in here where he didn't get a blue arrow. He had a no trade zone, and I did not, and I didn't notice the difference in the context. But we didn't have a single trade today on the yes. That was a valid trade anyway. The NQ, we did have some trades, and we had some really good trades at one point. The NQ was running a couple of times here. We had some really nice trends, and the NQ was running really nice leg lengths. We were able to grab a bunch of those, and that's the second bunch of them right there. This was the first bunch right in here. Okay, so this is where we got our goal for the day right in here. Once it changed directions here, it didn't pull back and hit the ribbon. Normally I would wait for it to pull back and hit the ribbon, but it had these really nice leg lengths. So I figured this one right here was going to give us the same leg length. So I jumped on that one and I got 36 profit. That's where I got the goal for the day. I was already at 4 ticks on the Russell and I got that. That put me at 170 on the morning session per contract. Then I missed the blue one right here. No, I didn't. I got that balloon too. Look, I got that balloon too. Okay, I got 30 there. I got 30 there. I missed everything here. I got to break even on this one. And then I stopped out over here. So at that point, after the stop out, we were back down to 40 ticks. And then I got this one right here. I got us back up to 70, then to 100, then to 130. And then I had to break even. And there was some really nice legs in here. Really nice legs in here. I mean, you didn't have to wait for it to come back and hit the ribbon. I don't know why that happened, but you didn't have to wait for it to come back and hit the ribbon here. That's frustrating. You didn't have to wait for it to come back and hit the ribbon in that case because it had not actually changed directions, is what I was trying to say. I don't even know where it was now. That is aggravating. I don't know how that just happened because this is a desktop version. But anyway, after that, I believe we were up at 130. Then we had a stop out that brought us down to 110. And then we had another stop out. It was in here somewhere. This was the stop out that brought us down to 40, I think. But that was it. That was the stop out that brought us to 110. And then the stop out right here brought us down to 90. And that is where we ended it on the morning session. During the break, there was a nice blue arrow right there. And this would have been a stop out right here. If you took it again, the outer bands were completely flat there, so you probably wouldn't have taken that. This one here, the outer bands are nice and spread. So that's a good one. This one right here, I would have taken that and I would have stopped out. And that was the NQ this morning. All right. And that was the whole thing. We ended up with plus 90 on the NQ with a high of the day. Oh crap, hang on. With a high of the day at hang on, I get all the way down to the bottom before it changes on me. Uh-oh, I don't even have one prepared. Uh-oh. I have to prepare a live stream for right now. Give me a second. Create stream and start my stream. Continue. I don't know that I'm going to have a live stream to do right now. We're running out of live streams. Let me see if I can get this material together really quick. We are about to start the live stream, but I got to go get information from yesterday's live stream so I can prepare this one. I had all that done through the week. Yeah, I know. I just don't have the information to put in it, like the picture and the text and all that. So here is the text. Let me copy that and we'll stick that somewhere. This is my new computer. I have all this stuff ready to go on my old computer. This is all stuff that I have ready to go on the old computer, but on the new computer, I do not have it all ready to go as much. Okay, so there's the 2 pieces of text that I need, and make the screenshot that I need, and get it all ready to go. This was from the morning session. I was helping Bert. And here is this. All right, that's gonna have to do. Save that. I'll only do this one like this, I guess. I'll put it in pictures. I'll put it in downloads. I may actually have. Nope, I don't actually have it in there in downloads. So I'll save it like that. And now I can put the whole thing together. All right, community, live streams, and create stream and start my stream, continue, and description. Just get all that text. We'll have this live stream going here in just a minute. Everybody just have a little patience with me, please. Paste that. And the other one, we only have 6 live streams left that we're gonna be able to do it this time. So kind of want to get them all out there if we can. Yeah, we're talking about TradingView right now. And start now. Here we go. So the stream should be starting up right now, and I will share my entire screen. There we go. Start stream. We're in there. The stream is beginning. Okay. So that took a little bit of a minute there to get it going, but it is running. Mike S, are you the one that asked the question a minute ago? Oh yeah, it is. Okay. It is pretty clunky, but all right. Oh, you're talking about GoToWebinar. Okay. Yeah, we have that capability. We can unmute you if we want to. It's up to us though. Yeah, we try to. We've been doing this a really long time, and we have lots of people in there. We've been in lots of rooms in the past before we did this, and ours is the most orderly room that we've ever been in. Mostly because we've only been in ours. But before that, we were in a bunch of other ones where people were all over the place, and we don't allow that stuff. But we can open your mic though. I mean, you seem like a reasonable person, and I've talked to you personally, and I know you are a reasonable person. So we could open your mic if you wanted to talk. The problem right now is you're talking in one stream, and there's 3 of them going on right now. So you'd be talking in the GoToWebinar one if we opened it up for you right now, and there's 3 of them going on. Okay, so I do have a live stream going. So for everybody that's in the live stream right now, if you haven't taken a free trial with us and you want to, go here to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button. There's no credit card required for the trial. They'll bring you to this registration page. Just give your first name, last name, email, phone number. Fill out the drop downs. Down here at the bottom gives you TradingView login ID. All right, that's what you need to do to take a free trial and get access to the indicators. Now, if you're in the live stream and you want to hear both sides of the conversations that are going on, again, go here to mytradingiq.com and right here, click on this. This is not a free trial. This is an actual registration for a session that happens every day, every business day at noon. It's not going to happen tomorrow, but every business day. It's not a holiday. It's going to happen at noon, and it has been for over a decade. You can register for that and hear both sides of the conversation that's going on right now. This is for people in the live stream. This is absolutely free. Happens every day. All right. This up here is also absolutely free, but it's a free trial, and it's a 5-day trial to the indicators. Okay. And you get access to the live room in the morning too. That is at mytradingiq.com. All right, so back in here. Now, for everybody that was watching from, the morning session, what we ended up with, let's see if I can find that for you. So right here. All right, we ended up with $490 a contract this morning. We were plus 90 ticks on the NQ, 28 ticks on the Russell, minus 10 on gold is what we ended up with this morning. Today it took 14 minutes and 3 trades to get to the goal for the day, $2,550 when we got it. And we took a total of 16 trades this morning. Okay, so on the month now we're at 73.95 with one contract, 7,395 with one contract. And on the year we're at 22,802 with one contract. Okay, so I don't know that we've had a month where we did not have enough to cover the cost. I don't think we have. Pretty close. That was last year. One time pretty close last year. This year I think we have, but the year before that, Let's see. Well, the year before that, we weren't anyway. The year before that, maybe. I'm just curious. I don't usually look at this. It just kind of stuck in my head. Nope, even the year before that. It's been years since we've had a month where the per contract was not enough to cover the passport. Here's one back here. I don't know what year this is. Right there, January of that year. January and December of that year wasn't enough to cover the passport. What year was that? Let's see. 2020. So it's been 3 years. Almost 3.5, 3.25. Anyway, this is where we stand so far on the year and on a month. Now I'm going to get into the actual trades now, or not the trades, but I get into the actual trading. I haven't looked at the Bitcoin at all today. I guess I could just glance at it when we're looking at the website to see what it's doing today. But the ES right now is bouncing off the ribbon right here after coming off a higher swing. So that's almost a trade setup. The NQ is going in the other direction. The Russell is going nowhere. It's in a no trade zone, and the gold is pulling back down to test the ribbon. So all those other things that I was thinking about in here, Mr. How's that doing today? This is Mr. on a 30-minute. So on a 30-minute, did I shut stuff off on this yesterday? Tables and stuff like that. Because it's not showing any table in here right now. Does it have the little black dot? Oh, okay. It's because it doesn't have, it's the all-time highs. That's why it doesn't have any highs above this level right here. On a 30-minute. If we do it to like a 1 minute, it'll have a table because it's got some pivots that are above on a 1 minute. Okay. But on the on the 30-minute, it doesn't have any pivots above where it is because we've hit new all-time highs right over here. 1999.99. You think there was anybody selling there at 20, at 2000 exactly? You think there are any sellers right there? 1999.99. That is kind of a sign right there. There's a huge order up here waiting to sell right below 2000. I think that's kind of funny when it does that. Bitcoin does that a lot too. We'll have huge orders right below those significant numbers. But if we bump this over here and go to a 6 and look at Mr. over here, I had the NQ running on this on a, this is an hourly on the NQ today. And so the NQ you can see has been pretty bearish today. Let's look at Mr. again. Mr. and this hourly, let's get on the 30-minute. Okay, on the 30-minute, we haven't had a long since 2 days ago. 9:30 in the morning, we had a long 2 days ago on this at 1688. So from 1688, it's gone up 220 bucks since then. Right, 320 bucks. 320 bucks. Interesting. This over here, I had drawn this in before, and you see it made it up to this leg length here. That was part of the lesson plan this morning. You see right up exactly to that leg length that I had drawn. And this was, I drew all this back here based on stuff in here. Those are guys that were in the lesson plan today. These leg lengths and stuff that I drew here, I drew that based on information back here when all we had was, let me move that over. Let me move that over. Just to show you how that stuff that I showed you this morning, I mean, it's real stuff and it applies all the time. When we didn't have anything over here on the left, that's what I was getting at this morning. We didn't have anything above this level right here to go for. So it might have been right in here that I was drawing it. We didn't have anything above this level over here to go for. I used this leg length that I drew from here to come up with the price that I expected to get up to and find some resistance up there. And I drew that at the time. So at the time I couldn't, at the time I did that and I expected it to get up to there, and it got up exactly to there, right here. And it found some great resistance right there. Big sellers sold it all the way back down to here. And so now, if you take this leg length that was established back here, that significant leg length that was established back there, and they exceeded that right here, but it got a whole bunch of sellers, the same leg length right here, got a whole bunch of sellers. interesting stuff. That was just based on things that we did. You know, I don't know when that was that I did that, but it looks like it was on the 12th, so a couple weeks ago. I had said that stuff. Anyway, let's get back in here and see what we have going on. On the NQ, we're going to trend right here on the gold over here. We're on the M contract on the gold now, guys. We pulled back and tested the ribbon. We could have a green arrow on an up close on this bar right now on the gold. It's possible. Again, looking at the leg length. Leg up, the leg up, the leg down. This leg down is bigger than that leg down. If this bar closes down, I'm not really going to be interested in going long anymore. Even if it gives a green arrow, it won't be that good of a green arrow to me. I'd rather see it close up, and even then, it's lost a lot of momentum, but it hasn't lost all of it. Over here on the NQ, you see the leg lengths here, the leg lengths down are about the same right there. The pullback right now, this is a little bit deeper pullback, but not much. If we were to give a drop right here, it would give a black arrow coming out of the overbought, and that's got a little bit of room to go right there, down to the swing low. Okay. I don't know which leg it is. This would be 1, 2. This is the third leg down. This looks like it's going to close down over here on gold. This would be the third leg down. So you may just want to wait for it to come back and bounce off the ribbon. It hasn't really hit the ribbon yet on the trend change. Okay. All right, it's 1:12. Today is just flying by. Bart, I sent you. Is Bart in here? Nope, Bart's not in there. Okay, just tell him I sent him the link to the meeting. The Russell is in a position to pull back up and test the ribbon and give us a short. The NQ is still in a position to pull back up and test the ribbon and give us a short. And the Mister is looking to put in, well, get up above the prior swing high anyway. We'll see. We'll see how this all pans out. Does anybody have any questions? Anybody want to see anything other than what you see here on the charts? You do. You just have to type in the symbol. If you're watching in the live stream, we only have 6 live streams left. I don't know what they're going to come up with after that. I mean, right now they have the video thing, but that's just not going to work out. For the people who want to see a live stream, that video thing is not going to work out at all. What we have, for those of you guys who are watching the live stream, we also stream live on YouTube. So if you go to cfrn.net, go to youtube.com/cfrn. We stream live on YouTube every day too. So those of you guys that are watching us right now, right here, you can watch us on YouTube. We're still going to stream live over there every day. And that stream over there actually starts at noon. Right, that stuff that I was telling you a few minutes ago about all this in here. When it loads up, all this right here, that starts at noon. That stream starts at noon. So you can watch the whole thing over there on YouTube. You can watch the stream live over there too. You can click here and watch it and go to webinar, which is actually a better place and way to do it, because you can ask questions with go to webinar. In the YouTube session, you can't ask questions. But if you click here, you can watch it here, of course, every day. If you want to watch it in YouTube, it's youtube.com/cfrn. Right. At the end of next week, we're not going to be doing these live streams anymore. Just want to give you an alternative. You could always sign up for the trial too. All right, we did end up with the up close over here on the gold. Now that is not a valid trade because it didn't come out of the oversold, so we did not get the green arrow. It's not a valid trade. I'm surprised that we ended up with that up close. I really thought it was going to close down, but it is what it is. It's not a valid trade. All right, if this black line were in the green, then you could take that, but the black line is not in the green. Okay. All right, did I see something? No, I didn't see anything over there. Just looking in here. All right. So gold, this needs to close up to pull it out of the oversold here on gold. That would give us a green arrow if it did that right now. It might actually give us a blue arrow if it did that right now. It's not touching the green right there. I mean, it's not touching the black. it's possible it could give us a blue arrow too. Okay. Nothing here, nothing here. Actually, here on the Russell, we're testing the ribbon. Could have a trade here on the Russell. Down close. I just noticed you had a green arrow there. But I'm saying nothing there because we're in no trade zone. Sorry, I just skipped right over that whole green arrow thing. I didn't notice it. 23.4 down to 22.6 on the Russell right now. Okay, that's what you'd be looking for here. And looking for an up close over here on the gold. It'd be 12.4 up to 13.2. Oh, no, it's not. Sorry about that. I was saying there's still no trade steps here. We, on the gold here, we need that to close up and pull out of the oversold to give us a green arrow. On the Russell, it pulled right through the ribbon, so we don't have anything there. Over here on the ES, it pulled right through the ribbon. We don't have anything there. And over here on, well, this is Mr. We don't have anything there either. Does anybody want to see anything? Anybody want to see any stocks or anything like that? You know what? I want to show you something. This. I did not look at that today. Let's look at that today too. DJT. Okay, had a high of 80 today. Actually, that was yesterday. Had a high of 79.38 yesterday. Okay, so it's dropped down to 67.66. You can see you got the blue arrow right over here on Monday. Actually, the 25th. Was that Monday? I think it was, right? Yeah, it was. Right here at 42.56. You got the blue arrow there. So, yes, crude. Okay, let's look at crude. Hang on a sec. Let me go look at that. There was something else that I wanted to show you on this. I'll remember it in a minute. Crude uses the same sensitivity setting as gold. So if you're going to just swap something out, it would be the gold one that you just want to swap it out with. Okay. And crude, I believe we are now on the K contract. Okay. So here's what crude looked like today. We did have crude inventories come out at 10:30. Didn't really do all that much, but we had some blue arrows right in here. One there, one there. This didn't put in a higher swing. This is the only one we would have been interested in. And then during the break right here, or coming into this session, I guess it was during the break right here, we had a nice short right there on the crude. Okay. I usually swap crude and gold in and out. It depends on which one's going to be the most active. We did have some activity in gold today. Sadly, I missed all the good trades and I got the one stop out. I did get that one for 7 ticks that you all know about, but I had missed that one. This was in the pre-market here on crude. You know, the crude actually opens up at 9 a.m., but it really didn't give anything through here until the inventories came out, and then gave one long trade right there and then one short trade here 2 hours later. So not a lot of activity on crude oil today. Yes, it's looking for it to pull back up. Yep, and be ready to go. be ready to go. I used to have a 30-minute chart that I had up here. I don't know what happened to that. Well, I'll have to go find it again. I do have, let me go over here to my DT stuff. That's what I was going to the DT for, to see what the week trading zones are. This is on the M contract. This is the wrong contract. Let me roll backward. Be on the K contract. Here it is, 8130 right here. Okay, 8130 by 35 above us. So what it's done, it's got bullish separation down here in the slingshot. What it's done, it's gone up and hit the midpoint between these two weekly trading zones and traveled down to the midpoint between these two weekly trading zones. So if this candle right here at the end of this half hour, if this candle closes above the BBC, which is this line right here, that red and blue one right there, if it closes above the BBC, that'd be pretty bullish. Like, okay, that'd be pretty bullish. I expect to get into the weekly trading zone and possibly all the way up to the midpoint here again, is what I would think would happen with that. All right. Yes, all right, 8 minutes left. And I mean, it could move up and close up above here. Remember the crude closes early too. So it opens early and it closes early. Yeah. Yeah, if this bar closes down, then that's probably what's going to happen right here. If this bar closes down, then the cycle is probably going to roll. Between there and there. You see it? Well, that's what's going on with crude. Now, if you put crude over here, we can look at crude over here too and see if you want. Let's do that. CL crude oil futures, and we'll do the K contract, and we'll do this. Well, we can do this on a range. We can go to a 7 range on this and see what this says on a 7 range. Okay. So we gave a shorting opportunity here. Now the stop in here is not going to be your standard 10 tick stop. The stop in here is going to be different. Right? It's based upon the price action, and if your entry point, your entry bar, the top of that bar happens to be lower than the top of the prior bar, then your stop's going to be, it could be a maximum on a 7 tick range, it could be a maximum of 14 ticks and a minimum of 7. Okay, so the stop in this case was 0.13 or 13 ticks in this case. That's right here, where I gave that short a little while ago. Now, if you want to look at that on a bigger time frame, like a 15 range, didn't actually give you the short in here. Get long in here a little while ago, long in here a little while ago, a short here that didn't go anywhere, and a short yesterday afternoon right there. That was a nice trade. If you want to look at it on a minute chart, it actually just recently gave a long trade here on the minute chart from right here at 81.17. Right, 81.17. First target 81.21. That's already hit that. Next target 81.52. So the next target's all the way up here at 81.52. Right here. Okay. NQ blue arrow is valid, right? Okay, let me go back to that. You're talking about over here. NQ blue arrow is valid. This short right here is yes. That was a short. That was a good valid blue arrow right there. And right now, because we hit the black line right here when we overbought, if we were to get a down close on this, it would give a green arrow if it came out of the overbought. Still, if we get a down close right now, it would give a green arrow if it comes out of the overbought, as long as the black line stays out of the green. And that would be, oh, you're asking about the NQ. Okay, well, that makes sense. Well, this blue arrow would be good. This is going to give you a blue arrow. That'd give you a green arrow. Sorry. This blue arrow right here. Yeah, the deal with the blue arrow right here is the first one was your actual trigger, but it never went 8 ticks into profit. So the next one is still good. Okay. Sorry about that. Yeah. It's still a valid trade. It'll give another blue arrow right now. If it comes out again right here, it'll give a third blue arrow. There it is. Yep. Yep, each one of those blue arrows right there, it came out of the oversold. It's kind of choppy right here. I want to look at the bigger picture on this and see what it's doing. See, this is it's really going to make a decision what direction it's going to go. It looks like it's right here where it's going to make that decision. We have lower highs and higher lows right here. So we're coming to a point, and in this case, your stop is going to be 10 ticks. So I think it should get up to the weekly trading zone again. But yeah. But right here, if you would have taken it up here on the first one or any one of the subsequent ones there, it would have just stopped you out minus 10 ticks. That doesn't mean it's not going to go up to the zone. It already hit the zone one time. But it was a valid trade there. Okay, you're right about that. All three of those were valid trades. Normally, if you get a blue one, you're not going to be able to take another trade unless it puts in a higher swing. But if it never goes to the point where it would have moved your stop to break even, then you can still take ones after that if it wouldn't have stopped you out. It stayed within an 8-point range. Yep, it stayed within an 8-point range all through here. And this down close here is looking like it's probably going to turn bearish and push down. Well, the swing low is right here. It's got a little bit of volume pressure right there. The next level down will be down here. And if we look at the next midpoint on this is all the way down here, 343. So it's got a long way to go down to the next midpoint. And that's something that we talked about this morning on the downside. I think 250, I think, is what I was saying on the downside, wasn't it? Isn't there a weekly trading zone down there too? Yeah, there is. Yeah, and 250 was what I come up with this morning. So that zone right down there is still in play. I mean, it's a long way down from where it is, but 100 points on the NQ is not that much. Yes, tomorrow and Friday. We have a ton of high impact news on Friday too. Yes, big stuff. That's what I was saying. Last couple of days I've been saying, if you trade options, what the markets are doing today is probably it's front running the news. And if we end up way down today, then I would bet that by the time the news is done, we're going to end up way up because it's already building it in. That is certainly a theory. And makes you appreciate having a well. Yeah. I don't know that my high alkaline water filtration system would keep poison out. Maybe it would. I don't know. Maybe it would make it worse. Yeah, we have this whole thing that ionizes and all that kind of stuff. Does all kinds of stuff to the water. So we never drink tap water. Cook with it. I have a question. Okay, let's go into the live stream, and that is not on that one. Hang on, it's over here. Live stream. Is this the live stream? Hang on. Here it is. Found it. All right. For someone who is new for streaming, new for our streaming. What do I advise? Would you please even list the indicator you're using? Yes, I will. This is called, here, let me show you this. I'll show it to you over here on the, yes, I'm going to get into that in a second. This is called the TIQ Context PP, a slingshot. They're just two indicators, okay? If you're new to trading, then what I'm going to suggest is you go here to mytradingiq.com. Click on this. It's a free 5-day trial. There's no credit card required for the trial. Sign up for that. You have, I can see right here, you have a TradingView ID. So guessing it's probably an essential ID. You have a TradingView ID. When you sign up for the trial, it's going to bring you to this page right here. Okay. I mean, I know there's only 1 day left on this, but if you sign up for the trial, you get all next week too. Give us your first name, your last name, your email, your phone number. These are pretty quick questions that you have right here to answer. Are you a partner? You're obviously not. Have you taken the trial? You obviously have not. Do you trade stocks, futures, or both? You can answer that. How are you referred? Probably the TradingView stream. What charting platform do you currently use? I'm guessing TradingView. If you have NinjaTrader, give us your Ninja Machine ID. If you have TradingView, just give us your TradingView login ID. Okay. So that is how you sign up for the trial. When you do that, you'll be sent all the information you need, but you'll also be sent the information to get into our room in the morning. Where in the room, we actually have a lesson plan where we go over everything that we do. All right, it starts on day one, which for you would be Monday. And on day one, we go over the different bar types, the range charts, the tick value per contract, per bar, per market. Go through a couple of different trading platforms, the difference between the up close, down close, and top and bottom close on a range bar chart, which is what we use in here. Support, resistance, trend trades, and counter trend trades. That takes weekly trading zones into account, and support, resistance levels, counter trend trades, stuff based off of that information. That's day one. Day two, which was yesterday, we go over the BBC, which is the leading edge of the ribbon, right? The thicker one. The ribbon, which is all of those lines. The context, which is the color behind the lines. Then day three, which is today, we go over the leg lengths, which I've alluded to a couple of times in here today in this session so far. And we had good talk about it this morning. The slingshots, two different slingshots, one for TradingView. This one right here would really only give you the arrows, and one for DT Pro and NinjaTrader, which has a whole bunch of other information in it that you don't really need unless you're using DT Pro and NinjaTrader. And the bar colors again, which are on DT Pro and NinjaTrader. And then tomorrow it doesn't look like we have a whole bunch in here, but the stuff that we have is really important. Now, if you were to sign up for the trial right now, ZT, if you were to sign up for the trial right now, tomorrow's not going to make a lot of sense to you, but you'll at least get your feet wet in there. And then when Monday comes along, because we're down on Friday, when Monday comes along, we start everything from scratch on Monday. It'll make sense to you. You'll have access to everything over the weekend. You'll be able to play with it and watch some videos and kind of get caught up over the long weekend. But tomorrow we'll be going over the DOM, how to read the DOM. The DOM is depth of market. The thing that I actually place trades on is the DOM. Okay, this thing right here is the DOM. Now this is crude oil. I don't have a crude DOM open right now, I don't think. Hang on, let me look. I might have one open. No, I do have one. I have one right here. And it's on the M contract, so I don't have the right crude DOM open, but I do have a crude DOM open. But how to read the DOM, how to understand what these numbers down here are telling you, what these numbers in here are telling you, and how to use that to your advantage once you're in a trade, how to manage a trade with that information. Okay, and what the different DOMs look like between the different platforms and the weekly trading zones, which is something that is completely particular to us. Nobody else has a weekly trading zones. And how to use the weekly trading zones in your weekly trading. Okay, so I said all that to say this. Yes. I said all that to say this. Take the free trial. just go out to mytradingiq.com and take the free trial. I just realized I'm 5 minutes over. I didn't even realize that. Today is just flying by. Bart, we have a meeting coming up here very soon. So we'll get to that. If you have not taken a free trial with us, go here to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button. You can do it right now. If you do it right now, we get stuff set up for you in the next 10 minutes. Click on a purple button. There's no credit card required for the trial. Do that. This is the sheet you have to fill out. Right? This is exactly the sheet. This is all you got to do. Give us that information. We'll get you set up to get there tomorrow morning. And get your indicators indicating through next week. Okay? All right, that is going to be it. I'm going to wrap it up for the live stream. Thank you, everybody that's come to the live stream today. We only have 6 more of those to go, so get them while you can. All right, thanks for coming. All right, the live stream is down. Dwayne, I can pass it back out to you in fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, in Studio A, looking south.
Yeah, just because we're unable to live stream on the TradingView platform doesn't mean we still can't stream live during this broadcast if you want to, because that's going to go out on YouTube for posterity. Yep. So
that's
whatever you want to do.
You can always watch it on YouTube.
Okay, recap of the morning session.
Today, 14 minutes, 3 trades, $2,550.
Great job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, guys, we left off on the ES. We've already covered the daily chart. So here's where the market opened last night, right at a weekly zone. When price encounters a zone, 70% of the time there will be consolidation. That's consolidation, that's consolidation, that's consolidation. 20% of the time's rejection. That's really part of a consolidation. But anyway, market opened here, consolidated the zone. We got blue and climbing below us, so that's bullish. That pushes us up to the BBC. Now the pullback holds more often than not, but eventually it will trade through. And in this case, on this candle, an hour after we encountered the BBC, we did trade through it. Okay, and so this candle right here opened at 52.80.75. Let's just call it 52.81 to make it simple. And it ran up to 52.82.75, and then the next candle continued right on up to the zone at 52.84. Go for the day. Then we pulled back to the BBC, and this was an odd little quirk right here. It's a bit of an anomaly. Okay, now it stopped dropping because it ran into this previously defined support, which pushed us back above the BBC, back up to the zone. Remember, when price moves up to a zone, we expect resistance until proven otherwise. When price drops to a zone, we expect support until proven otherwise. Now, I only put one line in, but there's 2 lines, 52.74/52.75. Here it's 52.84/85. I'm a minimalist. I like to keep as much stuff off my chart as possible so I can see what price is doing. Now, price found support, retraced to the BBC. The pullback holds more often than not, so we anticipate a move to the downside. Unfortunately, we have obstacles in our path, step line and red and falling. Doesn't mean price can't still trade through those and trade down to the zone. It just means it's not as simple as this move here was. You see, this move down to the zone had no obstacles in its path, except this swing low right here. But by then, you already got your goal for the day. So we hit the zone, pull back to the BBC. I'm sorry, we hit the target. Then we pulled back to the BBC in the zone as support ×2. When price drops to a zone, we expect support till proven otherwise. When price drops to the BBC, we expect support till proven otherwise. So that's support ×2, making this a very high probability, low risk trade opportunity. Your stop only needs to be there. And ding ding, we hit the target for a second time. Then we hit the zone overhead. Okay. And we got a double top there between this high. Follow the horizontal line on the cursor over to yesterday. Right there. You should have been expecting resistance there. And you got it. What if it had kept going? And you should have been expecting resistance there. And if it kept going, there. And then there. And then this zone. You need to get to the point where you look at a chart, a 30-minute chart, and instinctively know what the next high probability move is. And the next high probability move here is back down to the zone. But again, there are obstacles. So you're better served to look for a situation like this where you aren't having to immediately overcome an obstacle. See, the step line on the way down, we had the perfect stack. Price, step line, red and falling. Beautiful move, right? But that dynamic has changed. Now the step line and red and falling are directly below price. So here, they're assisting in the downward move. Here, they're potentially preventing the downward move. So what if price gives up and starts to rise? Well, then consider being long at 52.82 up to 52.84. Go for the day. If price drops to the zone, trades through the zone, and takes out this low, now 52.69 down to 52.65. That's 4 points. That's 2 days worth of gold. YM. Here's where we opened last night. Now remember, all of our members and trial members had these targets 5 minutes after the market opened last night. This was the opening candle. We're above the BBC, got blue and climbing. All systems say go long. And it took us right up to the target. Now, why did price stop here? This is Wednesday. This is Tuesday. Here's Monday. See why? Okay. Resistance, which was defined back on Monday, sent price looking for support. The pullback holds more often than it doesn't. Support will send the market looking for resistance. Now we got to go all the way back to Friday. Find that resistance. Okay. Obviously, it's going to be the next spot above this, which is right there. Okay. So resistance again sends the market looking for support. Pullback holds more often than not. Here, here. We run all the way up to the weekly trading zone. 950/55. Okay. We spiked it here. And here. We spiked it just a little bit. Okay. What's important is we put in a lower high. So we got a high, we got a lower high. That's a sign of weakness. Off of this high, price retraced back to the BBC. It spiked it a little bit, but when the 30-minute candle closed, we were still above the BBC, and we had a green body. Okay. Pullback held, the pullback held, the pullback held. Eventually, price will trade through. Now, whether you're pulling back from above or pulling up from below, pullback held, the pullback held, until after some serious consolidation, we traded through. Okay. And keep in mind, we trade every market exactly the same. We don't have one course to sell you for the S&P and another one for crude and then another one for gold, because people will tell you, oh, you can't trade all those markets the same. They have different personalities. I've been married 40 years. I'm not looking for a date. I just want a high probability, low risk trade opportunity. I don't care what anybody tells you. Price flows the same across all markets and all time frames. From support, resistance, back to support, back to resistance, over and over, again and again. It's a never-ending cycle. It's been in place since the inception of the markets and will remain in place until the markets cease to exist. And if anyone would ever love to come on the show and debate that what I just said is not true, I welcome that debate, because I'll show you chart after chart after chart of any futures market, any stock, any crypto, any Forex, any ETF. How can I be so certain? How can I be so sure? Because that's the underlying principle upon which markets work. That's how markets work. So we built a strategy that embraces how markets work. Are there more complicated ways of trading? Oh, you better believe it. Let's go check the RSI. Let's go check the trend. Let's go check the tricks. And on and on and on. Gotta throw in the RSI. Maybe I need some Keltner bands. Maybe I need some Bollinger bands. Maybe I just need to strike up the band. Maybe I need Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. I don't know. Oh, speaking of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, if you haven't watched that movie on Netflix called Thursday, you want to. It's a good movie. It's family friendly too. And if the Beatles were a part of your history, if you grew up listening to that music, you definitely, absolutely want to watch Thursday. It's no life-changing thing, okay? You're not going to be a better person or a different person just because you watched it, but you're going to enjoy it. And sometimes these days, with so much turmoil all over the world, we forget that God wants us to have joy. Joy unspeakable. We're just miserable. Got to snap out of it. We have so much to be thankful for, so much to be grateful for. Yeah, some of us are in debt. Some of us have got all other kind of problems. We've got physical problems, health problems, relational problems, marriage problems. But we still have much to be thankful for. And one of those things is that we have a God who promised us that all things work together for the good of those who love him and are called according to his purpose. Now, when we're in the midst of a disaster, it's very hard to believe that, well, this is for my good, okay? But there'll come a day when you look back over your shoulder and you'll look up heavenward and you'll wink at God and go, I see what you're doing. I see what you've done. Now, take that forward, okay? Kind of like a historical chart. Anybody can be a genius with a historical chart. Why do you get weak in the knees when you're working with a live chart. Okay? You can look back and see all of the times that God has pulled you out of the pit. Why then do we not believe that whatever pit we're currently in, he's going to pull us out of that one too? And if it's a health issue, maybe he's just going to call us home. We pray for the sick to recover. We lay hands. We anoint with oil. We talked about that yesterday. But our days are numbered. And only God knows that number. Okay, we're on the Russell. Here's where we opened last night. Pulled up to the BBC. Resistance, which sent us back to blue and climbing. Support, which sent us back to the BBC where we consolidated. And then we ran into the weekly trading zone where we consolidated. One of those candles did in fact reach up and attempt to reach the target, but it came a little bit shy. Okay. So the zone is 2102 to 2103. The high was 2105. $21.02, $21.03, $21.05, just 2 points. Anyway, resistance sends us looking for support. Pull back holes more often than not. So we get a long trade all the way to the target. Okay, why did price stop there? Here's your reason. Price pulls back to the BBC, finds support, and it makes another run. Okay. This time we come shy of taking out that high. Pull back to the BBC, again finding support. And off we go. We almost make it to the zone overhead. And then in the following candle, we drop all the way to the zone below. This was the 9:30 opening candle on Wall Street. Of course, we've been trading all night. Here's the opening candle on Wall Street, 9:30. Okay. And I'm assuming there was some 10 a.m. news this morning, because that picture changed quick. Get a red candle all the way down to the zone, and it found support at the zone. Now, these are the zones that were published Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. That's why it's so important that you learn how price behaves at a weekly trading zone, because price is always trying to reach a weekly zone. Now, we have an interesting dynamic here. If you look right here at the step line, see how it's been our friend all the way up? Price, step line, blue and climbing, BBC. Perfect stat. Boom. But now the step line is in the process of crossing blue and climbing. What does that tell us? The price is most likely going to retrace back to the BBC. Then the question becomes, will it hold like it did here and here and here? Yes, this spiked it, but look where it closed, so it held. Okay. So once the step line crosses, look for a retracement. Now you may find potential support at the zone and start consolidating. Remember, that's what happens 70% of the time. If that's what happens in this case, then the BBC will rise to meet price. That's a completely different dynamic than price dropping to the BBC. When the BBC has to rise to meet price, it's a whole nother ball of wax. And when you become a member, I'll teach you. In Q, here's where we open. Made a run up to the BBC and the zone. We traveled down a little bit, not a lot, but this low is that low. So should you be expecting support there? You should, until proven otherwise. Now this candle opened at 874. It dropped to, no, I'm sorry, it opened at 499, dropped to 74. Let's say, for the sake of math, let's say it only dropped to 79. See, it dropped to 74.5. But from 99 to 79, that's 20 points at $20 a point. That one candle is worth over $400 per contract traded. And once you earn the right to trade 10 contracts, that's a $4,000 move. So the market found support. Now it's got to go find resistance, which it did at the zone. Consolidated for an hour and a half. Then we get a leg. We get a retracement. Support times 2. When price drops to the zone, we expect support till proven otherwise. When price drops to the BBC, we expect support till proven otherwise. The support times 2. And that support, where does it take us? To the target and to the zone. To the tick. Zone published. When? Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. That resistance meant business. Look what it did. Now here's the 9:30 open on the NQ. The 9:30 to 10 a.m. candle will typically be the largest 30-minute candle of the session, except on days like Fed Day. Okay? And then the 10 o'clock news came out, whatever it was, and it continued down. So look over here. You can find out why. Okay? Support sends us up to resistance at the zone. The step line has crossed red and falling, so we anticipate a retracement up to the BBC. Crude oil. Here's where we opened. We actually pulled up to the zone and then dropped to the target. Yeah, we had a drop here. Remember, it was 5 minutes into the life of this candle that the CTA targets were published for members and trial members. Okay. So this candle opened at 81.29, but it was 5 minutes later that the numbers came out. Okay. But it made it down to 81.15. Bounced, traded through it, took us all the way down to the zone to the tick. Support is going to send us looking for resistance. Resistance is going to send us looking for support. Okay. Now, if you'll take the time, go study the chart over here, you'll understand why price stopped dropping. Support sends us looking for resistance. First at the BBC, where we consolidate for an hour and a half, and then, well, right here we ran to the, that's a short target. We never got near the long target, at least not yet. To the zone, which we expect to be resistance, which sent us back to the BBC, which we expect to be support, and it was. back to the zone, resistance. See how price got rejected? That's what rejection looks like, okay? 70% of the time will be consolidation, 20% of the time rejection. Now we managed to put in a high at 81.60. Okay. This high right here is 81.55. Okay. Size 81.60. The market was weak. You should have been expecting resistance here. And when price failed to even get there, well, that's a sign of weakness. And it was, and it sent price back to the BBC and to the short target. Support bounced us up to the zone and red and falling. Now the question, price has to do one of two things. It has to trade below the BBC, get below that low and that low and that low, so we can trade this. Or it has to overcome red and falling, and then we can trade something like 81.45 up to 81. That's a tight squeeze. 81.40 to 81.50. Yeah. That is, we're looking for low risk, high probability trades. That trade I would not define as low risk. Could be high probability, but number one, you got to see what the market looks like at that time when it actually happens. Okay. Hit the short target. Hit it again. Got red and falling overhead. Thinking lower prices here on crude. But you got to embrace all possibilities. Gold. Here's where we opened last night. Price got below blue and climbing and hit the target to the tick. This candle opened at 77.5. Dropped 5.5 points. 550 bucks. That candle right there per contract traded. So the market finds support, which was defined yesterday. And up we go. We get above the BBC. We hit the zone. And what happens? Price gets rejected. The pullback holds. This time we make it through the zone. Target. The high of the day, 2196.2. Didn't quite make it to the zone. We've now pulled back to the BBC. The pullback held. We got a high yesterday, a lower high, a lower high, and a lower high. That is a sign of weakness. I would suspect that this candle is going to trade through the BBC. And then from 2186 down to 2183. $300 per contract traded. See if the pullback doesn't hold. Got red and falling overhead. High, lower high, lower high, lower high. It would seem logical at this point that price would trade through the BBC, even though the pullback holds more often than not, no matter which direction it's pulling from. Silver. Here's where we opened last night. And we dropped enough to get your goal for the day, 2 points. Or 2 pennies. That's all it takes is 2 pennies to get your goal for the day. And then we pulled up to the zone and the BBC. So that's resistance times 2. Which sends us all the way down to and through the target. Price pulls back up to the zone and the BBC, the pullback holds, and it sends us down to the target again. Support sends us looking for resistance. We get through the zone, pull back to the BBC and the zone, and then we make a run all the way to the target. And we pull back to the BBC, catch another leg, but it's a lower high, just like gold. High, lower high, lower high. But we're above the BBC. We don't start looking for short trades until we get below the 30-minute BBC. In the Logic 247 channel, 16,000, basically 300 individual alerts. Every one is a trend trade as defined by the 30-minute chart, BBC, and price. If price is above the BBC on the 30-minute chart, then there will only be long alerts. If price is below the 30-minute BBC, there will only be short alerts in the Logic channel, all 16,000, almost 300 of them. Okay, and that's how it'll always be. It's easier to swim with the current as opposed to swimming against the current. Now, once you master trading with the trend, if you want to counter trend trade, there's nothing wrong or illegal. In fact, some people enjoy counter trend trading. That's their niche, their specialty. That's what they do. The reason that I only put trend trades in the Logic channel and why we've done so well over the last 295 weeks, averaging 20% or less being stopped out, is because they're trend trades. Now, in the morning in the live training room, while Michael periodically will look at the 30-minute chart, he doesn't have an issue with trading trend, counter trend, and that's fine. Okay. But I'm not Michael, you're not Michael. If you're able to trade that way, then that's awesome. If you find it's too fast-paced for you, then you're welcome to do as I do. Look for the windows of opportunity on the 30-minute chart. And then when price reaches the window of opportunity, then you can drop down to your smaller time frame and execute. Exactly how Michael teaches you every day in the live training room. Here's the euro. We opened last night. We dropped below the zone and hit the target to the tick. From that support, price rallies up to the BBC and the zone, pullback holds, and we drop to the target again to the tick. And then we pull up again, the pullback holds, and for a third time we drop to the target. This time we trade a little bit below. Now, this low right here, look at the horizontal line on the cursor. You see it? Potential support. Buyers came in a little early, pushed it up to the BBC. Now price is pinched between resistance at the BBC, support at blue and climbing. There will be a winner. If we take out this low and these lows, then we'll have an opportunity to trade down to the zone. If buyers win this skirmish, wait for price to get above this high, trade it up to the previous bearish cross. And on the daily chart, we're still below the step line and blue and climbing, but we still got that little green body. Told you Sunday night, I thought this was going to be a quiet week. And remember, this is last Thursday. This is Friday. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday are so small you can barely see them behind the step line in blue and climbing. We closed below yesterday, we're below today, but we haven't closed yet. Where we close today, that will be important. To become a member, go to mytradingiq.com. 9 out of 10 new traders fail because they don't have a teacher. Someone to actually teach them how to do the job. Not via videos, not via a book. There's nothing wrong with books and videos. They're fine. But they're not a replacement for a live teacher putting on and taking off trades in real time and live markets with real money while you trade along in your demo account and ask every question you can possibly think of and get an answer. Never think that your question is going to interrupt the flow. The only reason we have the live training room is so that you can ask questions, learn what you don't know. I mean, if you could sit for 10 years and watch Michael trade. That's not going to make you a trader. It's just like you could spend a decade watching videos of Mark Spitz swimming. That's not going to teach you how to swim. You got to roll up your sleeves, and as Bert likes to say, you got to start pushing buttons. You're trading in your demo account. Treat it like it's real money so that you build good habits. But know that if you make a mistake, hey, it didn't cost you anything, did it? No, it didn't. It didn't cost you a dime. And nobody's looking over your shoulder judging you. Going, but that guy doesn't even know what he's doing. No. Number one, Michael and I can't see your account. And Bert's got way too much on his hands to be sitting in judgment of whatever you do. Okay? But I'm telling you, if you don't start using the information you learn in the live training room and putting on and taking off trades in your demo account, you're never going to trade for a living. Promise you. The good news is, you got 2 hours and 10 minutes of live interactive training every trading day. Plus, you have access to one-on-one private mentoring at no additional cost. The strategy you learn, the indicators you own for life as a passport holder, fluid across all markets, all time frames. Futures, stocks, crypto, Forex, ETFs, doesn't matter. Because price flow is the same across all markets and all time frames. As a passport holder, you have access to everything we do and everything we've ever done. You also get the Logic 247 alerts, the concierge trade alerts, and you're able to attend members only workshop on Thursday night. Of course, you get the weekly trading zones every Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern when they're published. Everything a trader needs all under one roof, one low price. Yesterday we talked about how to pray when you're sick. Today, I'm going to encourage you to humble yourself in every area of your life. Luke 18:14 cautions us, those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted. Parable. Jesus said, 2 men went to the temple to pray. One was a Pharisee, and the other was a despised tax collector. The Pharisee stood by himself and prayed this prayer: I thank you, God, that I'm not like other people, cheaters, sinners, adulterers. I'm certainly not like that tax collector. I fast twice a week, and I give you 1/10 of my income. But the tax collector stood at a distance and dared not even lift his eyes to heaven as he prayed. Instead, he beat his chest in sorrow, saying, "Oh God, be merciful to me, for I am a sinner." I tell you, this sinner, not the Pharisee, returned home justified before God. For those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted. You can appear to be the most devout person in your church, yet have a heart filled with pride. And the worst part is that you don't know it. For example, when you take all the credit for things God enabled you to accomplish and acquire, that's pride. When you compare yourself with others, that's pride. When you think you can do the will of God without the power of God, that's pride. When you exclude people who don't fit into your peer group or social circle, that's pride. And it will cost you, because God opposes the proud but shows favor to the humble. James 4:6. Proverbs, pride cometh before a fall. So if you want to walk in God's favor today, then humble yourself before Him, those around you. Now, will some people take your humility as a sign of weakness? Yes. But guess what? What other people think of you is none of your business. Only what your Father in heaven thinks about you truly matters. Stop being a people pleaser. Start being a God pleaser. That's our good word for today. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.